So what's the cash flow like on these types of HMOs?
So what I would say is it's like the equivalent of a professional HMO for working professionals. You shouldn't then have to worry about voids or marketing rooms.
In this video, I met with my flatmate from the University of Birmingham, who is a fellow property investor who is in the process of converting a house into a HMO, which will be run as a supported living scheme, which means he has no void periods for up to 5 years. I'll get into this later on in the video, but let's start at the beginning. HMO or house in multiple occupation is where both of the following apply. At least 3 tenants live there, forming more than one household. There are shared toilet, bathroom or kitchen facilities with other tenants. I have never liked the idea of actually owning or investing in a HMO for the following reasons. Multiple tenants to manage. Usually the HMO has to be full in order for you to be earning a profit. Higher management and maintenance costs, higher compliance costs, HMO managing agent. If you don't have a good management company in place, then you could potentially be making the same amount of money as if it was on an AST. Proper fire safety measures are in place. Landlords must get a license from the council if the HMO has 5 or more unrelated people living in it, has 2 or more separate households living there. HMOs don't need to be licensed if they are managed or owned by a housing association or cooperative, a council, health service, or police or fire authority. Puneet has been implementing a supported living HMO scheme and has managed to address a lot of the concerns I mentioned above. He works with a supported housing provider who will take on the property for a period of up to 5 years, meaning that there will be no void periods, rent paid 3 to 5 years continuously, no management of individual tenants. Puneet has managed to build up a portfolio of these and is currently looking into becoming a provider of supported living. So let's get into this interview. HMOs. Apparently you do HMOs.
I do, yes.
And what type of HMOs do you do?
I have my wife and with my partners at PTF. We focus on housing vulnerable people.
Okay.
What we're doing is working with providers. We're going to be working with a supported living company and they house adults with learning disabilities on a long-term basis and they provide support and accommodation to those adults.
And how did you actually get into this or hear about this?
When I was at Bank of Scotland, I came across healthcare companies who were providing support and accommodation to adults with learning disabilities. And I was really inspired by the fact that you can actually provide accommodation to those who may struggle. I actually started contacting providers in my local area in Kent, started building some relationships with a few providers, and so we understand how they work and what they're looking for. We base our purchases sometimes on their requirements.
Okay, so that's pretty good in the sense that you can go to them and ask them, what do you need and where? They tell you.
We work with them throughout the process to help configure the property in such a way that based on their experience will be the most comfortable and most appropriate. So the house you saw in Maidstone today is going to be, on that property, is going to be suitable for 5 adults. This property is actually going to have 2 wet rooms as well. What
about in terms of the refurbishment costs? Do they tend to be high?
They tend to be a little bit higher. We always like to do a high quality refurbishment. We've always believed in pay once, pay right. The property has been comprehensively refurbished, but I wouldn't say I find the cost particularly higher. These are going to be properties which are going to be their home for a very long period of time, so we try to make them comfortable, fit for purpose, and tough and robust as well.
You buy the property, they provide that service, for example. What about in terms of looking after and maintaining the property?
So we try to maintain our properties to a really high standard. Where there's been some damage, the cost of that refurbishment or the cost of those repairs will fall onto the provider.
Okay.
But otherwise, we're always maintaining our properties on high standards.
So I think a lot of people will be interested in the cash flow. What's the cash flow like?
So this is not some kind of get-rich-quick scheme, but what I would say is that once you work with a provider and you provide them a really good property and you've liaised with them from the beginning, the idea is that you shouldn't then have to worry about voids or marketing rooms.
Sure.
Because the service users should be living in these properties for a long time.
Yeah. They normally sign a 3 to 5 year contract with you?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. It does allow us to invest a little bit further afield.
Sure.
In places like Maidstone.
Are there any kind of challenges, real big challenges?
So I would say finding a provider and building a relationship with a provider that operates in an area where the numbers work for you
Sure.
is probably the first and probably biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Once you've got that relationship going and there is an ongoing demand, you should be able to then find properties within your budget that make where the numbers work.
Sure. Okay. What's the one thing you wish you knew before you start your property investing journey?
That's a really good question. Can I narrow it down to one thing? I would say is don't compromise on the quality of the people that you work with.
Sure.
So whether that be solicitors, accountants, tradespeople, business partners, architects, planning, don't always try to just go for the cheapest or the person that's the quickest available.
What's the one biggest piece of advice you could offer someone that's maybe looking to get into property?
I would say focus on what you can offer and also then team up with people. So don't just jump into a project and borrow money from your parents if you haven't really got any experience. Team up with people, learn from people, piggyback or shadow people.
Yeah.
And don't necessarily be in the rush to just get involved in your first project if you haven't got the funds or experience or team to really make it work.
Sure. For new property investors, what types of projects should a newbie be looking at?
I believe the kind of investments you do in property should reflect your needs.
Yeah.
When me and my wife started buying properties to make into HMOs, the reason we did that is because we needed cash flow. If you are looking for cash flow, you want to focus on higher cash flowing projects, HMOs being a good example. If you have an established business and cash flow isn't as important to you, then you can look at things like developments or focus on maybe slightly lower yielding projects in terms of cash flow, which maybe have higher capital growth projections.
So if anyone wants to get in contact with you, how can they do that?
My website address, www.ptfproperty.co.uk, my email address, which is puneet@ptfproperty.co.uk. Our office number is on the website as well.
Sure.
And what we're really looking for is on our land and development business is if you own either a commercial property or some land which has potentially some development potential, what we can do is partner with you to achieve the best outcome in terms of selling that land, maybe securing planning on it first and then selling it, or us buying it from you subject to planning permission. If you own something like a used car dealership or commercial property, or you have kind of vacant land, or you have a large detached house on a decent sized plot of land which can be reconverted, please do get in contact with us and we can see how we can try to secure the best outcome for yourself.
Puneet, Gupta here from PTF Property again. So we are here in Maidstone, Kent. It's a normal family home which we converted into 6 rooms, 3 bathrooms. So I just wanted to do a quick video tour of the property. So come in. This is the basement that we have now converted into a overnight staff room. This is one of the bathrooms. There's actually a wet room. It has a chair suitable for someone who has mobility problems to shower. And this is the ground floor bedroom. Very neutral in decoration and furnishing. Now we're going to the ground floor communal area. This is a TV lounge. And we proceed into the kitchen diner. And this is the utility area with 2 washing machines and 2 dryers and an extra sink. As I mentioned, this video is our HMO conversion project in Maidstone. This property is now going to be rented out to adults with learning disabilities in a supported living environment. First tenants move in this week and they're going to be hopefully very happy and very comfortable here. If you'd like to find out a bit more about PTF, please do follow the contact details at the bottom. Hope you've enjoyed the video and I'll speak to you soon.
I hope you enjoyed that interview with Puneet. He has lots of experience and is a really nice guy. He has made me think twice when looking at investing in HMOs. If you like this video, please smash that like button and hit subscribe so that you get notified when I release another video. Make sure you are subscribed, as I will pick a subscriber at random and have a 10-minute call with you to see how I can help you on your property investing journey. Let me know if you have any comments down below and I will do a video answering all your questions. Please check out my personal website, ravinderorjda.com, where I have lots of free videos on property investing and service accommodation. Thanks for watching and see you on the next video. Bye.